Coming live now. Joe Buddy Biscuit. Coming with the business. That being said, let's get busy. I'll try to get better at this. All right, when you guys come, if you ever come in here, please give me a like or a share. Would be nice. But definitely give me smash that like button. Today I want to talk about something a little bit different. Just thought I'd wing it a little bit. Talk about somebody that's been a thorn in my side for, well, actually the entire nation's side for going on 30 years. And I'm talking about the owner and general manager of the Dallas Cowboys, Jerry Jones. I mean, he always has to do it his way, and his way sucked. And, 30 years of not going to the NFC Championship or going back to the Super Bowl is really shows. I mean, when he first came in, he, by his own admittance, hey, I didn't know a damn thing about running a football team, and so he had to learn on the fly. And so he hired, his old buddy Jimmy Johnson, and Jimmy, he knew football, so he helped him get the players and the personnel that he needed to put it all together. And what results was one of the best franchises in the history of the NFL. With that being said, all good things come to an end because Jerry has an ego that's as big as the world. I mean, he had to have it his way. So we lost Jimmy Johnson because of all that. We fired him, hired Barry Switzer, but still we continued to roll a little bit. And then came a drought. And he kept building the team the same damn way. Draft. And then I'm not saying Jerry never put a team out there that couldn't play, because he did. The teams that he put out there were really, really good. Some of them should have got over the hump. 2007 was a really incredible team, and it should have went somewhere. It had a decent coach, but it didn't. I don't know. I've always said when it's time to play, players have to play when it's time to play, and they didn't want to play that during that one. I don't guess they were young. And that's what you get when you always just build a team through the draft. You're going to have a bunch of young guys, and they're learning. They're young. They're becoming pros. A bunch of money. You give a young guy a bunch of money, you're heading. It's going to be a lot of times a one trip away to disaster. But and it just kept going on and on. And we get lucky in the draft. And we'd have some good players, and as soon as they become eligible to get renewed on their contract, unless they are somebody you wanted to keep, they'd let them go free agent. They'd go somewhere else and become stars and get titles and do all the things that we wanted to do here. There's a few players out there right now that's really making a name for themselves with other teams. Like Ward with the Colts. He was once a Cowboy. He was drafted by the Cowboys, and these things happen, and he just kept doing the same thing. It would be the same thing over and over and over again. History would keep repeating itself. He would wait for he'd go to the draft. And when you always drafting, you're getting a bunch of kids, man. You got to wait for them to develop, and it takes a while. It kept going and kept going. Well, until this year. It all started with Mike McCarthy wanting the new contract. Him and Jerry sat down. They couldn't iron out a deal, so McCarthy decided he was going to walk. So a lot of names got thrown around, like Deion Sanders, Lane Kiffin, several names, and a few others got thrown around. It was going to be the next coach of the Cowboys. But the whole time, it was Jerry decided it was going to be Brian Schottenheimer. Okay, so he hires Brian Schottenheimer as the coach, and the media went crazy. They were like, just giving him all kind of. Well, Brian, he's been in the NFL for a long time as an OC and never got a chance to be a coach, and nobody ever wanted to hire him as a coach. All he had going for him was his name. Well, he's got a pretty good name. His dad was a hell of a coach. Marty Schottenheimer was a hell of a coach. There's no ifs, ands, buts about it. But when you learn that Mike McCarthy told him, if I'm not going to be your coach, and you really need to look at Schottenheimer. And so he did. And of course, other guys like Rex Ryan and Pete Carroll had come forward and said, he's going to be a real good hire. But nobody else wanted him, and everybody's going nuts. The media is just hammering Jerry as he hired Brian Schottenheimer to be the coach. We were, as Cowboys fans, was like, hey, why? But he hired him, and then he didn't come to draft. And as you all know, I went live that night of the draft, and I did my first mock draft ever. And I thought I did a pretty good job. I only did the first round. How the hell these guys would ever go and do 7 rounds of this shit? There's just no way I was going to do it. I did 1 round, and I did it by using scout papers and some of the players that I knew of, and it took me like 4 days to put that thing together. There's no way I would have tried 7 rounds. So I kept it with 1 round. I was pretty high on what I did. But one thing I was all about weapons. I was all about weapons. So the player I wanted more than anything was Tet McMillan coming out of Arizona. I really wanted that wide receiver. CeeDee Lamb needed a number 2, and why not? He was a big physical a receiver with breakaway speed. So yeah, I wanted him. I really wanted him. And all points and purposes pointed that the Cowboys have a shot at him. Well, of course, he ended up being a top 10 pick, so Cowboys didn't get him. And a couple others I was looking at, like Omarion Hampton out of North Carolina. That kid, I cannot pronounce his name, out of Ohio State. I think he's playing for the Bucs now. I was looking at him, but mostly it was pretty much Tet McMillan. After he was drafted, I was pretty much scrounging around about who we're going to go after. But what I didn't want to do was go after the trenches. I thought, man, the Cowboys had 15 offensive linemen in the building at that time, and they wasn't scrubs. I mean, you look at the backup line that the Cowboys got. I mean, the entire line this season was hurt at one point, and they kept rolling. I mean, yeah, guys like Huffman and Thomas and Bass, they kept it going. They held it down. They kept going, man. It was, and I knew these guys were going to be good. And hell, I watched them play in preseason so many times. I knew these guys were good, so I didn't want to go trenches. And I was watching other content creators, and as they were saying, yeah, Cowboys really should go trenches. Zach Martin, which I knew Zach Martin was retiring, and he was probably one of my favorite linemen of all time. And but I said, we got Brock Hoffman there, dude. I mean, he's a backup center. He's a backup guard. Why he held it down when Zach was hurt last year? Why not? But decided to draft, and I really didn't even do a lot of scouting on Tyler Booker at all. I didn't do none, actually. So when they said, "Hey, we're going to draft Tyler Booker first round," man, my jaw dropped. I was like, "No, why? We did." I'm thinking, why? Well, now I'm like, yeah, because that kid has been awesome. And all you guys, I've looked at some tape this week, and I've posted it. If you guys have had a chance to check it out, the way he manhandled Jalen Carter, and I mean, it all started with Crosby. I mean, he had to deal with Max Crosby. Then he had to deal with Jalen Carter, and then he just had to deal with Chris Jones. And if you look at his footwork and the way he squared his body up and used his strength and drove on him, he did good. That kid's the real deal. He's the real deal. So but at the time I was like, no, I want a wide receiver. Tet McMillan is the perfect number 2 to CeeDee Lamb, and I had no idea that we were going to make the trade we made. And then it caught me by surprise. Out of nowhere, we traded a 3rd and a 5th for George Pickens, and I was like, what? Jerry Jones is doing this? You got to be kidding me. And then the word's going on how Micah Parsons, he wants to be traded. I was like, you got what? But it's all a ploy though. I was looking at because he wanted more money, and then while because Jerry did take him in March, and it was posted all over on social media how they talked back in March about what it was going to take to keep Michael Parsons here, and Jerry's flat out offered him $40.5 million a year with $200 million guaranteed on a 5-year deal, and the way Jerry talks is that Parsons is all for it, but then Dave Mulligator is what I call him gets involved, and well, that's shot down. And so right before the season starts, Jerry put Parsons on the trading block and blew my mind. How the hell are we supposed to trade the number one player on our team? But he did. He traded him for Kenny Clark and 2 first-round draft picks, and which is pretty stout trade, but Cowboys paid for it at the same time. They really paid for it. Their defense was absolutely awful, but their offense looked fantastic. Jerry picked up he picks up Javonte Williams, and everybody, he's all washed up. And myself, I'm like, hell with that. This guy's coming off of a knee injury, man. I mean, how's he going to be any good? Well, once again, my words got 8 because he hasn't only been good; he's been fantastic. He's running the ball. The offense, like I've said a few times on here, that it's the best I've seen in 15 years. 15 to 20 years is the best I've seen the Cowboys offense run, and it's a well-oiled machine. Our quarterback Dak is just playing out of his mind. Right now, he's definitely contending for the MVP. Chances are he's probably not going to get it, but it's the second time. It's like the third time he's ever contended for it. Hell, he contended for it his rookie year. He placed like 7th in voting his rookie year for MVP. Dak has been a really quality quarterback, and his lack of playoff wins, has been more than aggravating. I'm just, every time I brag on Dak, the one thing he'll fire back is, his playoff, and you can't say a damn word about his playoff wins. Fucking sucks. 2 wins in all these years. I mean, that's not good. That's not good at all. And but we got an offense now that if we could just and get a defense that started to run well, then Jerry at the trade deadline he trades a 7th round pick for Logan Wilson. I'm like, this after talking to the world that I'm going to make a big one. You're going to love me. 7th round pick for a guy sitting the bench. Are you serious? Logan Wilson ended up being a pretty good player, but then he trades the number 1 draft pick, one of the picks that he got for the Michael Parsons, and he brought in Quinnen Williams. And now you got Quinnen Williams, you got Logan Wilson, and then also, like I said, talking about the draft. On the draft night is where he took Booker 1st round, he took his Ezra Raku in the 2nd round, and then in the 3rd round he took Siobhan Revel. They all have panned out to be a huge success. So now we got the draft picks. Let's start off with the hiring of Brian Schottenheimer, the picking up in free agency of Javonte Williams, and then trading for George Pickens. Then he traded away Parsons for Kenny Clark, 2 first-round draft picks, and then trades one of the draft picks away, a first round away for Quinnen Williams. So now on the interior of defensive line, you've got 3 solid defensive tackles with Osa Odighizuwa, Kenny Clark, and now Quinnen Williams. And in the back, you have a linebacker who's wearing the green dot now. You got Logan Wilson, who's doing a hell of a job. He's a tackling machine. Then all of a sudden, you got Overshown getting healthy. You've got Siobhan Revel getting healthy. So you got a rookie out there, and if you watch tape on that kid's scrappy. He's real scrappy. I mean, he ain't afraid to make a tackle. If you catch it on him, you ain't going nowhere. He's going to put you on your ass. So, real scrappy. So you got all this working, and you're like, is this really the Jerry Jones that been doing this draft thing for 30 damn years and it never works? You put good teams out there, but you don't put teams to get over the hump. You may have one now. It's still yet to be seen. But you're bringing in grown-ass men now. You're bringing in proven players like a Quinton Williams, like a Kenny Clark, like a Logan Wilson. You're bringing in proven players that can play. And George Pickens, the words can't describe. I mean, he's making a bid to say he's the best receiver in football right now. Not only on our team, but the best receiver in football. The things that he's doing out there is jumping over people, jumping up out and catching the ball over two defenders and leaving them both laying there. It's fantastic. I'm excited right now to be a Cowboy fan. I mean, normally I'm giving a lot of people's giving me hell, but so what I'm trying to say here is, how do you all feel about Jerry Jones possibly being nominated for Executive of the Year? And not only that, how about Brian Schottenheimer at least getting a mention for Coach of the Year? It's a possibility. It looks pretty good right now. And don't get me wrong, it can fall flat on its face. But right now, they just got done doing something that's never been done before. They beat the last two Super Bowl champions, and not to mention they were still the two teams that was battling for the Super Bowl last year. We beat those two teams in a 4-day span. That's never been done before. And it all started with playing the Raiders, and everybody's like, oh, that's just the Raiders. But, it was just the Cardinals that came to Jerry World, beat the shit out of it. It was, at the time, just the Bears, but boy, does that come back to revamp everybody's point of view, as they're number one in the NFC right now. Congratulations. I'll give you a hand on that one. I mean, then you got Carolina upsetting the Rams yesterday. We should have beat the Panthers. We should have beat them. I mean, we had them beat. But once again, our defense was not where it's at now. Like some of these teams that we have played and they have beat us, I like one more shot at them. Like the Packers that we tied. That irritates me every damn time I think about it. A tie. We were the better team on the field that day. We were the better offense. Just our defense was garbage. I mean, garbage. Because I'm really not sold on Love. I'm not sold on him at all. The things that he does out there just doesn't impress me. I mean, I think he's so overhyped, it's unreal. But that's neither here nor there. But what I'm wanting to, if I had a vote right now, I would probably vote Jerry Jones, and I can't believe I'm saying this, for Executive of the Year for what he's done. I mean, these are not Jerry Jones type of moves. I mean, is it been Stephen Jones all these years? Because, the documentary come out, the Netflix series documentary comes out, and it's talking about the old Jerry Jones. And quite frankly, the old Jerry Jones was really a gambler. Like it says, the gambler in his Cowboys, he was really a gambler. He gambled, he took a shot, became the owner, took the NFL by storm. I mean, he brought Hollywood to his team, for God's sakes. The NFL got pissed off because he's trying to do a lot of advertisement for like Nike and Pepsi, and NFL didn't do that shit back then. And Jerry brings it in, and what did it generate? A lot of money for the NFL. So kudos to that. So, if you think I'm crazy, that's fine. Go ahead, drop a comment. But if I had a vote right now, I probably would say, hey, Jerry Jones, you deserve a mention for Executive of the Year. Brian Schottenheimer. You should get at least a mention for Coach of the Year. Now, chances are you're probably not going to get it unless you make it to the playoffs. That's still yet to be seen. I still know it's a far fetched. It's still kind of really hard for the Cowboys to get to the playoffs right now. I mean, yeah, they're 6-5, and they got to go to Denver. Oh, not Denver, but Detroit this week on Thursday night, and and I think they're still pissed off at us. But we'll talk about that at another time. But so tonight, I wanted to give out a big props to our owner, general manager Jerry Jones. I mean, I had said out here a million times that if no other team would hire Jerry Jones as their general manager, the only way would be because he owns the team. And the day that he was at the signing of buying that team, he looked right at Tex Scram and says, "I want your job." Tex Scram knew right then and there that his days at Dallas was done, and which was sad because Tex Scram was a very good general manager for a long time for the Cowboys. He was basically the president because he ran the team. Bum Bright was one of the owners. He went bankrupt. Jerry steps in. Hell, Jerry tried to buy a team, I think, in 1966 or something like that. I think he tried to buy the Chargers, and what's funny about that is he was actually he had the Teamsters, and Jimmy Hoffa was actually going to loan him the money to buy the Chargers. Thank God for Jerry Jones's dad stepped in and said, "Nah, son, you don't want to get involved in that," which was right. It was the right thing. Jerry backed out of it. He didn't buy the Chargers, even though he was being financed by the Teamsters and Jimmy Hoffa. So, yeah, kudos to Jerry's dad for stopping, because at the time Jerry was fresh out of college, and he just, like I talked about a little bit ago, when you're young and dumb and got a lot of money, you just you make careless mistakes. So, but right now, if I had a vote, I would definitely give it to Jerry Jones. I think he has earned his position as a general manager of the Cowboys this year, with all the moves he made. And we still got 2 first-round draft picks in 2026, and you still got a first and second round pick in 2027. So you still got room to work, man. And the Cowboys, the future's bright for the next couple of years. I'm hoping for once we can finally get over this hump and get to the damn NFC Championship. That would be fantastic. But I can say this right now: if the playoffs started today, no team wants to deal with Dallas Cowboys. I could probably say you could book that. No team right now wants to deal with the Dallas Cowboys right now, and Detroit's going to learn that Thursday night. This team right now is on fire. They're playing fantastic football. The defense is playing as competent, being competent, because this offense can get rocking at any given minute, and with a run game, with a passing game. Long as to stop that cute bullshit, just wanting to run CeeDee Lamb as a running back, or Turpin as a running back. Quit that. Stop that, please. You're disrespecting your running back who's trying to get you, who's damn near getting you 6 yards of carry. So quit it. Just quit it. But kudos to Jerry Jones and the job you have done. I'm really, really happy for you. And I'm happy to say you're my general manager right now. But drop a comment in here. Tell me what you think. Jerry Jones, should he be considered for Executive of the Year? I personally think so. I really think so. So, anyway, I want to come on and talk about my owner, general manager, for a minute, and give him his props that he rightfully deserves. So, I will be talking about the Lions as we move forward. They play Thursday night, so I'm probably going to do a little bit of reporting and see what get some inside scoops and see what old Crimson Chin's saying, man. Dan Campbell, that's one thing I can always count on him, is to beat Dan Campbell. So anyway, y'all, thanks for tuning in. If you come on and check out my videos, please smash that like button for me, and I appreciate you, man. Until then, we them boys. Have a good one.